So hello and welcome to the Hooked on Health podcast. Today I've got Allyson Alting, nurse practitioner and owner of Functional Wellness.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you sort of came into becoming a nurse practitioner and starting your own business.
Sure. So I am 34 years old. I grew up with a mother as a nurse, and she definitely drove my passion into nursing. I started out as a nurse and got my nurse practitioner degree shortly after that. Worked in emergency medicine for some time and transitioned over to an urgent care setting where I felt that something was still missing. I was giving patients not even diagnosis, just I'm sorry, I can't find anything. There's nothing wrong, but they're coming in with true complaints that I know something's bothering them, but I can't find a reason why. And that kind of led me to root cause medicine, functional medicine. So I took courses and schooling on functional medicine and fell in love with it. It's truly transformative, and I think that not hugely known, getting there, but I think that it's going to be the future of longevity and living longer and just taking care of yourself. So,
yeah, we talk about the most important pillar. I guess there were 5 pillars of functional medicine, but we were talking offline. You said the most important pillar is the first one, which is gut health.
Yeah. So first one truly is remove. So what I do in practice is I do a GI map test. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that test. It's a specialized test. You'll never see it in conventional medicine. It's a stool test that looks at everything. That looks at good bacteria, commensal bacteria, bad bacteria, bacterial overgrowths, yeast, candida, and sometimes even parasites. And then we'll look at leaky gut. So there's a measurement of leaky gut called zonulin that we can look at. And then it also looks at inflammatory markers and gluten specifically for inflammation. So it looks at all those things. So when I get that test back, we remove anything that we don't want there. So I remove a lot from your diet: gluten, dairy, sugar, seed oils.
What's that?
Terrible, I know. But those are the huge drivers of inflammation in the body. So once those are removed, your body has room to heal. The inflammation decreases and your gut is able to heal. The gut lining, leaky gut. The fad phrase is at this point.
It's actually leaking from the gut.
So here's how I explain it to my clients. So your gut lining is one cell membrane thick on purpose, because when you eat your food, the nutrients and beneficial stuff that needs to be absorbed into the body to help the body function is supposed to be absorbed through the membrane. When external factors like glyphosate, like toxins from skin, hair, nail products, toxins from external stress, inflammation from that. When that plays a factor, it causes those junctions to open wider. So then larger particles of even like food can penetrate through the lining. And those larger molecules of food your body sees as foreign invaders. So they send an inflammatory immune response to get those foreign invaders and remove them from the body because they think they're foreign invaders. So when you remove those foods, say it was gluten, say it was even a sweet potato, that are supposed to be healthy for you, if your body's reacting to it, every time you eat that food, it's going to cause an immune response, which is going to increase inflammation. And then we all know that inflammation leads to everything bad that we don't want in the body. So once you heal that leaky gut and you're not leaking the material that is not supposed to be going through, your immune response and your inflammation reduces. And then all the things that are caused by that inflammation subside as well. Anxiety, brain fog, fatigue, rashes, anxiety, depression, things like that. So
are you able to prescribe sort of like a diet from the gut, that gut test or the stool test?
Yeah, so we do that elimination diet, those 4 main elimination high inflammatory foods. But then I So this is another thing. So you re-inoculate. So you remove the bad stuff, re-inoculate the good stuff. So you want to heal the leaky gut. We use things like bone broth, aloe vera juice, L-glutamine, and butyrate. And then you re-inoculate the good bacteria that you're missing. So if the good bacteria, you're low on some of the bifidose or some of the lactose, you give the body specifically what it needs. So you can really hone in on what the body specifically needs for you as an individual. Like, so there's so many probiotics that you can just buy that has a bunch of different things. Does your body necessarily need all of them? No. Is it harmful? No. But honestly, you're paying for expensive pee because your body will urinate out everything that you don't need.
Right.
So it's much beneficial for you to test to see what your body actually needs. So with the food elimination diet, then you do the leaky gut protocol. And then you do the re-inoculation of the good bacteria. And at that point, then I usually will do maybe a food sensitivity test. If this person usually comes in telling me I have a lot of gut issues, I have a lot of food sensitivities, or I know that certain foods really make my stomach upset, I'm dealing with a lot of bloating, then I'll do food sensitivity. I don't do it first because with the leaky gut, and like I explained, if everything is sending off this immune response because it's leaking through the gut, then everything's going to pop positive on your food sensitivity test. And you're going to be so overwhelmed. You're going to be like, what can I actually eat? Is it anything? So once you fix the leaky gut, re-inoculate the good bacteria, I talk a lot about slowing down when you're eating, chewing until there's nothing to chew. Digestive enzymes. There's a lot of education that goes along with it. And then further honing in the diet. So we usually do the elimination diet for 4 weeks, and then I will do the food sensitivity testing. And then if you don't pop positive for gluten or dairy, then we can slowly add those things back in. I am a huge advocate for full fat dairy. Fat-free things are actually very harmful and inflammatory the way that they're processed. So full fat dairy, full fat cottage cheeses, that's the way I ask them to reintroduce it. And then sourdough. If you're not making it, what are you doing? No. But that is definitely one of the gut healthier breads. If you are somebody that enjoys a piece of toast in the morning, do it with an avocado and some cottage cheese and an egg. So it doesn't have to be this awful elimination diet forever, but it's super important in the beginning to allow the gut time to heal, reduce the inflammation, and get it back to optimal functioning.
I think that there's just so much misinformation out there. And I think, especially as a consumer, when I try to shop at Whole Foods and do whatever, read labels, and it can be really frustrating as a consumer to be like, well, I thought I was eating healthy, but it turns out that whatever I was eating has a seed oil in it.
Yes,
or it's,
everything has
even
seed
some of the things at Whole Foods, you think there's a lot of hidden things that you think are healthy in the center aisles, and even sometimes on the outside of the aisles that, and I think about kefir versus, whatever the probiotic non-name brand or
right,
whatever it is. That's kefir is so processed, and I don't know, somebody had recommended a different version of it that's actually not processed.
Yeah.
But I think it's just really frustrating as a consumer. So how do you guide your clients to really stay and adhere to a diet that's not only good for them, but that's something that's repeatable?
Yeah.
Right. And not just boring and grilled chicken and broccoli every day.
Yeah, it's hard. I ask them to keep it simple. I do a lot of sheet pan meals, which is ultimately chicken, vegetables. But you gotta have to try to play around with some seasonings, play around with some homemade dressings or sauces that you can put on it. Everything homemade is better because you can choose your ingredients. You can choose olive oil, coconut oil, or avocado oil. So that will decrease or eliminate the seed oils in the store-bought dressings. But I ask them just to keep it super simple initially. So if you look at your plate, make sure that there's a protein, non-starchy vegetable, and then your carb can be white rice, sweet potato, something that's easily digestible and maintainable for like a complex carb is what I'm trying to get at. So yeah, it's boring initially. It is. But there's a few, I don't know the names off the top of my head. There's a few social media people that follow these non-inflammatory diets, and they have great recipes for different sauces. So whether it's a tzatziki sauce to put on your turkey meatballs, or it's a, what's that, Big Mac sauce, but a good one to put on your burger bowl, like stuff like that is kind of where I say to spice up your meals that way. But homemade is better because you're not going to find truly good brands. Even the good brand, the Primal Kitchen, have you heard of that brand that's supposed to be good? They were just bought out by one of the big companies. So now they're saying
it's not going to be the same.
Careful what the ingredients are in it. Yeah. I'm like, you just can't. You can't. You cannot find a good brand. It's hard.
It's funny. I love tzatziki. So I've been using like the Whole Foods brand tzatziki. And, it's interesting. We'll get it at like Market 32, Cedars, right? And then I'll get it at Whole Foods. And they're completely different ingredients in the bag of them. And it's so frustrating, right? Because you're like, oh, well, I just need it in a pinch. Market 32 is right here.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's intentional, but it's so difficult when you think what you're eating is healthy and it's really not.
It's not.
It might be deleterious to your outcome.
It's just all consumerism. It's what is cheapest to make and then sold, but tried to market it as healthy when it's really
not.
Full of oils and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think, obviously we work, as a physical therapy company, there are often comorbidities associated with people getting to where they need to be. Right. And, obviously with exercise, you need protein, you need a solid foundation of, nutrition on top of exercise. And we don't really talk to our patients enough about that. We sort of just assume that people are eating outside of PT and sort of getting the right nutrients to build muscle.
Yeah.
And again, we only have so much time with people. Usually it's 45 minutes to an hour, but
right.
You're listening to their story, you're kind of guiding them on what they're supposed to do. And we try to stay in our lanes as PTs and not really talk about nutrition and other things like that. We lean on other professionals like you to help guide that conversation. But I think generally there's that lack of specificity to that person. And I think that's what's so frustrating. It's been frustrating for me over the years is that we haven't had tests that you're talking about now, like stool tests. And, and I think of an allergist, the test that tends to
the scratch marks. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, talk to me about where you see, where health is today and where, the objective testing is today to improve nutrition and overall wellness, like how you feel, right? Like the main, I guess the feeling of like, that frustration is just like lethargy or fatigue. It's like, oh, I just feel like, ugh. Like, and I don't know how many people listening to this show are just like, they wake up and some mornings they feel like,
did they even sleep? Wake up so unrested.
Right. It's like,
that's one of my main complaints that I get from my clients. It's hard. So let's talk about fatigue, because that is one of the main symptoms that I see as a functional medicine practitioner. You go to your primary care or you go to an urgent care and you say, hey, I have this profound fatigue. It doesn't even improve with caffeine. Maybe even caffeine makes it worse. Why? Like, what else is going on?
How do you measure it?
Right.
Right. Like,
I feel like I'm sleeping 8 hours, if not more, and I still awake feeling unrested. What's going on? There's a lot of things to cover here. So conventionally, sleep apnea test. You need to do one of those. If that's the case, you need to make sure that that's not a contributing factor, because that snowballs into so many other things in the body. Conventionally, if somebody comes in to my urgent care, or I did my schooling in primary care because I'm a family nurse practitioner. So if somebody came in with fatigue, we would check a CBC, which is your basic blood counts. We would do a metabolic panel. We would do a thyroid, maybe a vitamin D, maybe a vitamin B12, and see where we get there. Here's my main issue with some of these tests. So most of the time, people don't even fast before them, and in the fasting glucose comes from the BNP. The fasting glucose doesn't really give me much information. A1C maybe would be another one that would be added onto there. The better test, the more functional test would be a fasting insulin. So that's different than a fasting glucose. Fasting insulin is raised almost immediately. So if your body has any type of insulin resistance down to the mitochondrial level of shuttling glucose in and out of the cell for energy, if your body has any issues converting insulin due to insulin sensitivity, that fasting insulin will be elevated because it's the pancreas that is triggered to increase the production of insulin to help with the metabolic energy process. So that's the first. You're going to see that within days to weeks. So we can catch diabetes far before an A1C would catch it. So an A1C is a measurement over 12 weeks, 3 months. Fasting insulin, we would catch within days or weeks. So then you can initiate, which is unfortunately not done appropriately, diet and exercise, lifestyle changes at that point to help prevent further advancement into diabetes, right? So that's one test I hate. That's not, or one test that's done that we could do better on. The other one would be TSH, thyroid. TSH is a thyroid stimulating hormone. It has nothing to do with the thyroid. It's a stimulating hormone. It tells the thyroid to produce more thyroid hormone. It comes from the pituitary. It's a hormone itself. The better test would be the free T4, free T5, but you will never, so the TSH range is 0.4 to 4.5, huge range. So if you fall anywhere in that range, it won't reflux to free T4, free T5, free T3, free T4. And to truly get a good picture of what your thyroid is doing, you should have all of those, including TPO antibodies, which is a Hashimoto's indicator. But so you go in at 20 years old and you're a 0.8, normal, right? You go in again at 26, or what did I say, 26 years old, and now you're a 3.8. Still normal range, right? No. Your 3-point jump in a couple of years, that's huge. That's huge. So when your body produces more TSH, that's telling me that your thyroid is not functioning optimally, so that it needs more hormone to be produced. Is an indicator of hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's. Hashimoto's is a huge diagnosis these days because of inflammation, all stemming from something else, obviously, usually the gut. But something hugely missed because it can cause fatigue. It can cause brain fog. It can cause decreased motivation, low libido, all the things. But if you're in that normal range of TSH, you won't reflux to the free T4, free T3, and nobody's going to run a TPO antibody. It just doesn't happen unless you're off the charts and you're looking for it.
Yeah.
And at that point, all throughout those 6 years, you've been working your way there and probably having symptoms that nobody can answer for you because all your labs are normal.
Right.
Right? So that's one that bothers me. The last would be vitamins, deficiencies. I think that everybody in New England is vitamin D deficient. If you're not taking a vitamin D supplement, shame on you. But you're not, and then there's education on how to take it appropriately. Vitamin D3 should be taken with K2 and a healthy fat.
Yeah.
For good absorption. Do you think that people get education on that when they're given that supplement? No. And then other things like magnesium, sometimes it's checked. Potassium and chloride and things are in the BNP, so those are sometimes checked. What about zinc? What about selenium? Selenium is the main nutrient for your thyroid. 2 Brazil nuts a day would do you well for thyroid function. And then vitamin B. All these things are needed to feed your body down to the mitochondrial level. If your body is not functioning from that level, everything else that contributes to or works for is then thrown off. So I think that vitamin deficiencies are something that I focus a lot on. Once I fix the gut and replace the good bacteria in the gut, then I work on replacing everything else that's missing from the body. Omega-3s. So we get so many omega-6s from saturated fats and seed oils and things that we don't need. The ratio, which is important, of omega-3s to omega-6s is always way off. because we don't get enough omega-3s, which comes from like salmon and anchovies and sardines and things that people don't like. So I do a lot of high dose omega-3 supplementation when it comes to my patients. And that plays a big role in hormones too, in regulating hormones. So once you fix from the ground up, a lot of other things fall into place, specifically your hormones. And that's why no shame to any other provider ever, but like if you're not addressing the root cause, but you're fixing hormones, there's gonna be some point where it's not gonna be enough. Like something's still gonna be off, and their symptoms are gonna return or resurface at some point.
Yeah. Do you think that this is, Allyson, like a new thing in the last 10 years? Like functional medicine, like you never heard about gut health, and now you hear about gut-brain disease.
Oh yeah.
We have patients with symptoms that we see patients with gut-brain disease that have symptoms that, are causing physical manifestation of pain. But I think, do you like what is it? Our diet is is it the food ecosystem? Like what is going on that this is a thing?
Yeah, it's diet. It's our diet. So high processed, high inflammatory, low nutrient. Even like if you were to shop the perimeter, like they tell you shop the perimeter, get the fruits and vegetables and stuff. Even the fruits and vegetables are so depleted of nutrients because of our soil just doesn't have any of it. So it's hard, right? So people are like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I don't, one step at a time. It's hard. You can't fix everything. That's another thing. You can't obsess over everything either. Like, I talk about a lot when it comes to nutrients, deficiencies, toxicities, and things that we want to try to change and eliminate. You can't do everything at once. You have to kind of just do one thing at a time. And even that, I think, is super important. So this society, we're all go, 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 grow, right? So it's all stress, all cortisol. And if you don't take 30 minutes for yourself and go for a quiet walk outside, just sit in the sun, meditate, even a couple years ago, if I told one of my patients to meditate, I'd be like, what am I even saying? Like, it works. Breath work and meditation are a thing, and it's helpful. And your body needs it because this, again, society is just so go, go, go. And there's no place for just taking time and prioritizing yourself. I think that is another driver as to all the inflammation that we see.
I think we're getting closer with like these Whoop bands, the activity bands. It gives you
Aura rings.
It gives you an idea of like the real-time stress, probably as measured by heart rate variability.
Correct.
Which cardiologists don't love, but for the record. But I think that we're headed in the right direction. We're just not all the way there yet. Mm-hmm. I think at least personally, I can speak to when I spend 10 minutes in the daily calm or I do an hour yoga class, like my stress level after that or my, perceived stress from the Whoop is way lower than it typically would be. So I think anecdotally, at least, and objectively, there's measures that show me what I'm doing is working. I'm the type of person that I need to see objectively where I'm at. And then I want to see, just like if I were to do an in-body, a body composition or a DEXA scan would be the gold standard. But like in-bodies are good. They're decent.
Cool.
I want to know where I am today. And then I want to know after X intervention, working out 5 days a week, eating healthy, how is that going to look after 1 week, after 2 weeks, after a month, or whatever that intervention period is?
Yeah.
So where in functional medicine do you feel like you can give somebody a starting line and then reevaluate them and show them like how they did, what does that look like?
Yeah, no, so that's exactly what I do. We'll go back to the GI map test because that truly is like the ground floor. I get your GI map test, we fix the things that we need to on that, and then 3 months later, we recheck it. Are all your commensal bacteria where I want them? Good bacteria. Are they all where they want them? Are they functioning optimally? Are you taking your digestive enzymes at every meal? Is your digestion? Is your bloating improved? Is your brain fog improved? Is your fatigue improved? Is your stress management, anxiety improved? How are you feeling overall? 3 months usually is what I need to truly make a difference when it comes to the gut. There can be significant things, like there can be small bacterial overgrowth, PPI use like omeprazole, that stuff takes a long time to work through because you have to slowly rid the body of the medicine and increase the body's natural acid production again. And then the lifestyle then plays a role into that too, because most people don't want to give up their wine at night, or their social drinking, or their red sauces, or their high acidity stuff.
Everything fun in life. Yeah.
Everything fun in life, right? Yeah. I get it. Trust me, I get it. It's all in moderation. And once you fix, or H. pylori is another thing that could be causing some issues in the gut, in the upper gut. Once you fix everything underneath, enjoying those things in moderation will be fine. Like, you'll be able to do those things again. It's just, you're not treating them with a pill so that you can enjoy a lifestyle that's just not optimal for anybody or your body at the time.
100%. What do you think about high cholesterol?
We can go a lot of different places when it comes to cholesterol. Honestly, cholesterol can be improved with a good vitamin B, with omega-3 supplement and some exercise. Yeah. Cholesterol used to be like the main focus when it came to cardiovascular disease and plaque. Now they're seeing that inflammation triggering white blood cell immune response carries that plaque, or carries that cholesterol into the vessels and attaches it as plaque. And that creates worsening cardiovascular disease and heart attack, stroke.
Have you read, I think it's Longevity, the Peter Attia book?
No, not that.
Was it called Longevity? Something like the Peter Attia book. It was released like a couple years ago. I don't know if he's functional medicine or whatever he is, but he talked about, in his chapter on metabolic health and cholesterol, he talks about the importance of ApoB. And then I think I talked to Kate about that too a little bit. But, he talked about, I believe there was a study of like 2 different rats that they did. Or maybe it was like bunnies or something. I might get the animal wrong. But like one rat was like massaged and like taken care of and loved. And the other one was just like kind of left to fend for itself.
Yeah.
They both had this same high cholesterol, super high cholesterol diet. And when they ran, each of the panels for each of these rats, one of them had really high, cholesterol in their blood running, whatever ApoB or whatever it was they tested. The other one had like no deleterious effects of a high cholesterol diet.
Stress.
Which to me is like, and it's so frustrating because we hear high stress. And, I just think about the Whoop, and you can see it sort of whatever stress, however, HRV, however but for me, it's like, well, how do you manage stress? Like you're under a lot of stress. If you're a parent listening to this, you're under stress. Like it just is what it is. You're constantly, kids are screaming, there's something going on, there's something that needs to be done. Work, there's stress. Everywhere in life, there's stress.
There is.
But I think it's like, how do we objectify it such that we can really truly reduce it?
I don't know. I don't know that there's a good answer for that. I think that from where I perceive it and where I try to work with my clients on it is, instead of letting it overwhelm you, prioritize yourself for 30 minutes. Go to bed earlier, 30 minutes earlier, to wake up 30 minutes earlier before your children. Drink your warm beverage of choice, bone broth, tea, whatever. Journal, meditate, get some morning sunshine, watch the sunrise. Your circadian rhythm will start flowing, and start your day in a relaxed state. And that way you can keep your energy lower. Even when dealing with high energy children, you can kind of try to keep yourself at a lower place to get through your day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, I think is really just the only way to address it. If it's something that you can't, so like the other day I took care of in conventional, my urgent care job, a person that was so incredibly overwhelmed at work by the new boss that she was working with, that she was getting anxious belly, vomiting, diarrhea. It consumed her thoughts. Even when she was at home, she couldn't even listen to her daughter, didn't know what her daughter was saying to her at times because her mind was just elsewhere. I'm like, that is incredibly unhealthy. You need to eliminate that. If you need to find a new job, or you need to address that bot, all those things are hard, right? But that it will lead to something better in the future instead of just staying there stuck and stressed, right? So something different for everybody, but it's inescapable. you have to try to just prioritize one thing at a time. If you can give yourself 30 minutes before your kids wake up, that's what you need to do.
So don't check your phone and look at your emails the first thing in the morning.
No.
Right when you wake up.
Cut it out. No, I'm guilty of it too. You practice what you preach, but there's only so much you can.
Yeah. Why do you believe in, collaborative care? How do you see functional medicine working alongside PT, and other movement professionals? Like, why do you think that's important?
I love this question. And my sister is actually a physical therapist too. So we've had a lot of conversations. I think that, so Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, she is in the holistic functional medicine space. She focuses a lot on muscle, stating that muscle is the key to longevity. And I agree. So I think that obviously physical therapists focus on muscle, and she makes it so that muscle is just the central regulator. So it contributes to metabolism, immune function, hormone signaling, inflammation, brain health. So if I can fix the gut and reduce inflammation in the body, instill some good practices or behaviors in lifestyle changes in people, and then kind of defer to a physical therapist, say, where they can educate them on proper technique to do a squat, or to create a workout routine, or to optimize their injuries. Other things like lymphatic drainage massage, pelvic floor PT for females. Gosh, yes. So important. And then things like sauna, cold plunge, red light therapy, peptides, hormone therapy, all the adjuncts, extras, once you get the foundation set, I think is just huge in the collaboration effort. I know that muscle is important. Do I know which muscle inserts to wear and how you should be doing a squat versus deadlift? Foundationally, yes, because I have lifted, do some lifting myself, but do I know the knowledge and appropriate ways to explain that to a person? No. Yeah, that's all you.
And then it's like, what does a referral to that look like, right? And I think and again, the longevity, but like Peter Attia, exercise really is one of those panacea activities that we all know improves actual longevity and health span.
Yes.
Right? So your health into your 80s and 90s and your quality of life, not just the quantity.
Right, because you can move. You can still walk. Yes.
And I think that, it's so interesting because people think about that and are like, hire a personal trainer or whatever else. And that's a great start. But, my mom is 75, and I'm like, she goes to PT twice a week, and she's going to go forever. I just told her, I was like, I don't care what it costs, if insurance covers it or not. Like, I want you there with a doctor PT who's going to show you, exactly what you need to be doing and making sure that you're not going to, fall or have something. Because what happens when you're 65 plus, your risk of injury, if something happens, you have a fall, you have a fracture, that could keep you out of the game for 6 or 12 months, and we all know the stats, you break a hip.
Nodular atrophy, all the things, yeah.
It's just tough. The mortality rate if you break a hip is very high within a year if you're over 70 years old. Mm-hmm. So I think especially the older folks listening to this, you can build muscle into your 90s, and even centenarians or 100 plus real can build muscle still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think a lot of people think you can't build muscle when you're in your 70s and 80s. You definitely can. Is it harder? Of course it's harder, but you can still build muscle. And I think the collaboration between our two roles and our two professions is huge, because we can show people how to safely exercise, and honestly what exercise is tied to longevity, which is really squats, grip strength, upper body strength. These are things that are tied to mortality, and living a longer, healthier life.
I think that one of the cool things more recently that's coming to is hormone replacement therapy, which plays a big role when it comes to muscle, right? So testosterone is the anabolic hormone, and as you age as a man, your testosterone decreases, but also as a woman. What a little bit of testosterone would do to those perimenopausal women, oh my gosh, huge change, huge difference. Just the motivation, the ability to get through a workout and see some results and feel better, energy-wise, brain-wise, libido-wise, all the things. That would be the first hormone I would, in the appropriate person, usually a perimenopausal woman, testosterone would be the first thing I would supplement for them, because it will then increase your estrogen, and then your progesterone will increase alongside that. But instead of doing estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, do a little bit of testosterone first in the right person. Again, it has to be perimenopause. You're still making your own hormones. You have all your organs that are still functioning. Just help it a little. And I think that you would see an incredible difference in that person as a human being, just overall.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So that's really interesting to me.
Yeah, cool.
We're coming up time, but I think, and personally, I get weary of supplementing testosterone because, again, it's like, we came up through HGH, testosterone's bad.
Yeah. So they just took the black box warning off of testosterone.
Yeah.
Which was huge.
You think about your body's natural production of it, and are you going to inhibit that? Mm-hmm. So talk to me about, let's say you ran a blood panel on me and my T was a little low, mm-hmm. right? Like, when do you start, like at what number? Is it sort of a whole clinical picture? Like, what does that look like to you?
It should be a clinical picture because it should be symptom-based. The range for testosterone is, I think it's 250, 350 to like 1,100. Huge range. Yeah. And if you had your testosterone checked by your primary care doctor or even an endocrinologist and you fell anywhere in that range, they'd be like, normal, you're okay. No. A lot of the men that I'm seeing, mid to upper 40s, into 50s, testosterone levels are 300, 400 on the lower side. Optimally, they would function best at a 1,000 to 1,100 range. That's where I would want to get them. Testosterone therapy is for life. If you start it earlier and you're still in your childbearing years and want fertility, you can take HCG injections with testosterone to maintain your natural production of testosterone in your testes. That can be done alongside it to protect your fertility. But usually when this really affects men is mid to upper 40s, early 50s. They're done having children. They're just looking to feel better, more like themselves. Midlife crisis is the thing. And this is why. Testosterone is why. You don't need a new car. You need some testosterone. So testosterone will help with their workouts, will help with their motivation, will help with their brain fog and depression, anxiety, will help with libido, obviously. All the things that matter to a man to just continue to be the person to help provide, to help care, to help just get through. That's what's important. And testosterone is that thing for them. Very new aged is it coming to fruition for women. I think that I still have trouble getting it approved for women, like to be prescribed for women, because they're like, well, what is their level? What is this? What is that? It's all level based, which is frustrating because a woman's level, so I would want them optimally 50 to 70, maybe even a little bit higher depending on the build of the woman. But if it's anywhere in the normal range, which is less than 50, the insurance is going to give you a hard time, right?
Yeah.
So then you have to kind of go to the compounding pharmacies and get it that way, which is fine. It's not hugely expensive. And then it's also the injection part of it. I'm going to get maybe a little bit of pushback here. I don't like pellets. I don't think that they provide a steady state of the medication. I think that testosterone is one you have to not be careful with, but know the side effects of. And side effects are irritability, anger, and outbursts. Like, you don't want that when you get the big spikes and then the drop-offs and then that's not a good therapy for me.
Right.
Injections with cypionate are much more maintainable. You do them on Mondays and Thursdays, and you just have more of a steady state of testosterone circulating throughout your body. It's better. I'll argue that to the day. But it's just my opinion. Yeah, but it is for life. Testosterone therapy is for life. Women are going to have no hormones eventually come menopause, and then they're going to get that inflammation around their, or the weight gain and the decreased motivation and just not wanting to do anything. And we're all just supposed to accept that that's normal, and that's what it is. The hot flashes, the vasomotor symptoms, all of that would be improved from a little bit of testosterone and maybe even progesterone. Progesterone handles a lot of those vasomotor symptoms. But you go to your primary care doctor and tell them you have these symptoms, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're 45, you're approaching perimenopause, you're going to have these symptoms. That's normal, common." No, it doesn't have to be. It has been. It is normalized because what other options were there? Hormone replacement therapy was not a thing. Very rarely a thing unless you have like issues with it. That are like affecting your daily life. But other than that, it's kind of like a conventional medicine person would probably be like, no, probably not.
It's amazing how things have changed in the last 5 or 10 years.
That's a longevity hormone, right? You would say that testosterone, like optimizing your testosterone for the long run would be a longevity hormone.
And it's a quality of life thing, not a quantity of life thing.
Yeah.
And it may be both, right?
Right.
Like, I want to live the best quality years. I don't want to live until 100. If from 80 to 100 I can't walk or I'm not happy.
Yep.
Can't
enjoy
no exercise, no libido. Like, that's not what the life that I want to live.
Right.
Peptides, are they safe? And what exactly are peptides?
Sure. Peptides are short chain amino acid. So they're naturally occurring within the body. Peptides are just little segments of those amino acids that are localized and made to enhance the specific function of that segment. So let's take FNP-C 157 because I think that that's one that people hear a lot about. Huge for gut health, gut lining, huge for inflammation, but also muscle repair, muscle building, tendon and ligament damage. This peptide has been used for years, decades in professional sports for players that have had injuries. They inject it right into the knee or right into the shoulder to aid in muscle repair, muscle rebuilding, and just injury repair to get them better sooner and back into the game. They've been used for years. Will they ever be FDA approved? No. So can I tell you from a medical standpoint that they're FDA approved and safe? Probably not. But it's something that's supplemental. I never go to them first. I would never use them first. You have to fix the root cause and use them in adjunct to help with what you're dealing with. Like I have a client who is going through a shoulder surgery soon. Ask what they could use. That was one of the ones I recommended. Somebody that's training super hard for a bike marathon, asking to optimize his workouts and recovery. Women who don't necessarily want to do testosterone. There's CJC 1295 ipamorelin that increases the body's natural growth hormone, which will then increase your natural testosterone and then help with testosterone production naturally, and then just overall feeling better workouts, better muscle recovery, better energy, better focus. So sourcing them is hard. Yeah. They had been taken off the 503B pharmacies because Big Pharma doesn't like them. But they're coming back. I think that Dr. Vasily just posted something on social media saying that there was a list of them that was coming back to the 403B, 403A pharmacy, 503B, 503A pharmacies soon. So that makes me feel better. So that is a pharmacy. It's a sterile compounding pharmacy. They have to follow FDA guidelines. There's a lot of gray market websites. You have to, if you're going to use them, it has to be at your own free will. But you have to vet them. You have to, where are their are they posting certification of analysis for purity? Are their purities everything over 99%? Heavy metals was a concern for me. I don't want any heavy metal in anything that I'm taking. And then what is the company that's doing their certification analysis? Are they GMP certified? Like, I go in depth. Like, I know what I'm looking for and I know what needs to happen in order for me to feel safe with taking them and recommending them. But I have been using gray market website a little bit because of the restrictions on the pharmacies.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're coming back.
Well, I know the FDA just went through and approved a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like this past week, right? Or like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that hopefully should help with the availability of these things.
It should.
But it's, that's interesting to me because, I would rather take something that's naturally going to produce testosterone in me than take a testosterone injection.
There's a time and place. You're still young, right? Obviously, you have great muscle mass. You're still working out. You still have everything you need to kind of get through. If you can, take something that's naturally occurring that doesn't suppress something for the rest of your life or doesn't make you have to be on an injection for the rest of your life, absolutely. Yeah. There may come a time and place where you're just like, okay, it's time. Right. But it doesn't have to be. Yeah. There's options.
I want to kick that down the road.
Yeah.
If you can.
For sure. There's options. And I think that that's the biggest thing for people is to know that there are options and that it's not just normal. It doesn't have to just be what it is. You can change your life for the better with other things other than just diet and exercise when they just don't work. Right.
Yeah. Or when you hit a wall and you're like, I need something different.
Yeah.
What does aging well actually look like to Allyson Alting?
I think that aging well and healthy living will go hand in hand. I think that you have to put in the work to support your body to be able to do the things that you love, right? I think that aging well for me looks like running around with my grandchildren or something like that someday, right? So in order for me to be able to do that, I have to maintain my movement, my muscle, my brain health, and just my overall well-being. So that for me is aging well. But you have to put in the effort now to be sure that you're not stricken with type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, inactivity, muscle loss, injury, all that stuff later on in life. I think that it takes a lot of awareness, I guess, from a young age to know like, hey, I need to change my habits. I need to change my lifestyle. And for some, it's a huge adjustment right now, right? Because we're so used to the fast food, the convenience, the medication for an ill, the ease of the society these days because of how busy it is. But to take a step back and truly see what does my body need. I should not be eating a pizza 3 times a week. I should probably have some chicken and some vegetables and some color on my plate. I think that understanding and being aware of that, just the awareness, being aware of that now and trying little by little to take steps to get to where you need to be makes a huge difference later on in life. I think that education is lacking. I think that you're told, oh, you have prediabetes, go home and diet and exercise.
Yeah, keeping life shift, right? Like go home and just change your entire life.
Okay, but like how?
And I think you make a good point, right? It's like you got to look at your habits. If you look at your habits, like the first thing I look at is just like, what do you do Monday through Friday? What does your day look like? You work from 9 to 5, okay. Like, what are you doing outside of those hours? And how are you preparing to eat healthy or at least eat less fast food? And where are you working out? Like, show me your calendar and I'll show you what you look like at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Both professionally and personally.
And that's a good point. Like, if you have to schedule it into your calendar, do that. Like, if you have to, the first 30 minutes of my day are for, like, just put it in me. First 30 minutes of my day are for me. That's fine. That's good. If that's how you have to do it and make a priority for yourself, have it scheduled every single day throughout the year. Just to have it there so that you can't schedule anything over it and you can't neglect it. And I think that a lot of people just don't have themselves as a priority, me included. Yeah. For until I started this journey, but
well, here's a healthy reminder for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Rapid fire, you ready?
Oh gosh, bring it on.
I might even just go off the script.
Oh.
Favorite book?
Ooh, so there's a lot of them. What was So the first one I read was by Dr. Jolene Brighton, Beyond the Pill. Because when my struggles first started was when I was trying to conceive and having trouble. And then I looked at, she talks a lot about deficiency. She talks a lot about what the birth control pill does to your hormones after being on it for 15 years. And what you need to do for your body to prepare it to make it available and well nourished for a pregnancy. So that was the first book that I read, and I kind of switched all my mentalities. Every time I ran out of a product, it was, what is now the non-toxic option of that product? It was a big shift in my thinking, and that's what kind of got me started on functional medicine. So I think that would be, if you're young and trying to get into the functional medicine field on birth control, having awful symptoms, or that would be one of that I would recommend. There's one about, I don't remember the name of it. We'll have to put it in the notes. But there's one recently that just came out that I'm reading by Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, about longevity, muscle, and diet. And she goes into pretty much like a playbook about it. And I love it. She's super informational, but she ties in really well inflammation, gut, food, and exercise, and how they all are essential and necessary for longevity.
Yeah.
I love it.
Favorite movie?
Dirty Dancing.
Okay. All right. The throwback. Little Patrick Swayze. Mantra that you live your life by?
One thing, one day at a time. I think that I was a nurse, went through nursing school, went through nurse practitioner school, went through new grad programs, got engaged, got married. There's a lot that just happened all of a sudden, and I feel like, honestly, I blinked and can't hardly remember any of it. Yeah. I think that you have to slow down whenever you can manage that, and really make a conscious effort to just be in the stage of life that you're in and be happy with it, right? How can you make yourself comfortable, happy, and enjoy that stage? So I think that by doing one thing for yourself one day at a time makes it so much easier to enjoy your life and want to prioritize it.
I love that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Allyson. Appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
If people want to reach out to you, how can they contact you?
Right now, my practice is just telemedicine. So my website is reachingfunctionalwellness.com. And I do have an Instagram account that is thelongevity.np. I don't post a whole lot on there, but my website is attached to that Instagram. And you can DM me with any questions, and I'll get back to you.
Awesome. So we'll put that all in the show notes. And thanks, Allyson. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great.